Okie dokie artichoke. 93 and 76 kilo champs and two-time world champ, Delaney Wallace. We're going to walk through just real briefly. We'll talk about the prep coming into this, your guys' expectations coming into this and what you wanted to do. Maybe, Delaney, I'll throw it to you. You were extremely quiet. Anything beyond.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to pocket watch this guy. I can't find nothing.
You cannot. Man,
I'm finding only real estate on this page. I can't find
if you are a business owner in the New York area, you found the right Instagram.
500,000 cash. Hit my line now.
If you went to his Instagram, like, is this the same Delaney Wallace?
Yeah.
Is there two Delaney Wallaces out there?
I was working.
You were working, but also in the gym working. How was, obviously prep went well, but how was prep coming into this?
Yeah, no, prep was good. It was just good. I think there's a little bit of peace that comes with not being a part of the whole media, everything coming in, 93 battle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because for me, you know me. I don't really care about the glory of it. I just like the art of competing. And so I remember going into this prep, I remember two instances that just like brought me back to like the beginning. One was when I first started powerlifting. I remember I stopped playing football, was in finance for a year, and I was like, yo, I'm getting fat. I need you to do something, get into the gym. My boy hooked me up with a trainer. He's like, oh, I think you'd be good at powerlifting. Just like show up to this meet and like, let's try it out. And so I do it, and I just have this obsessive personality. And so I remember after the first competition, at that point in time, it was Sean Noriega and Russell Orhe, who were like the best in the world at like that time. I had no clue who they were. And he was just like, these are the two best guys in the world. Bet you can't catch them. And I was just like, all right, bet. And so I just went back into football mode. And I just remember looking at everybody and I just said, there's so much want and need for attention and to show that you're working, that I believe that people are overextending themselves and training and doing things that they're not supposed to do because they need that. And I was just like, if I just pull back for a second and I don't worry about posting, I don't worry about anything, and I just wake up every single day and I just do what I'm supposed to do, I believe that I'll catch up to everybody. I started late, right? And so I had a feeling of that. That was the first feeling. And then the second feeling was Sheffield 2024. Going into that, like I had a crazy adductor injury, just like partially torn, it was the whole 9 yards. And so like stopped posting, just rehab training, didn't squat anything over 2 plates for like 4 months. And I just remember every single day wanting to quit. Like I typed up the whole Pete, I got to drop out thing. And it's just like one more day, one more day, one more day, one more day. And then like at the very last minute, I remember like you asked me like how you feel. I was like, by the time third squat comes, like you're going to know the day I have. And the reason why that's so important to me is because I remember going into that meet, everybody had me ranked 11th, 12th, 11th, 12th, he's hurt, he's not. And then that was the day that, finally broke the world record, first 83 to hit the podium on Sheffield, like the whole thing. And so I felt that again, being out of the conversation, right? Like I looked at the 93 battle video, it popped up, and I didn't feel anything, but this is like, it just felt perfect that I wasn't there. And I was just like, the last time that you guys didn't bring me up, that was the day that I broke the world record, and it just felt like it was that moment. So prep was great. I mean, coming up from 83, a few months ago, didn't have to cut, and I just felt like everything was firing. I just stayed in the pocket, did my thing, and it just felt like it was all meant to be.
Were you not in the 93 video?
No.
There's a video they made and you weren't in it?
No.
Oh, damn. You caught some people lacking big time, huh?
Yeah.
But you weren't posting. People weren't sure. The last time we see you at SPD Austin, just shy of 900 kilos, and this time you were just shy of it was 917.5. Yeah. So like you made some huge improvements and kept your cards close to your chest. It is what it is, but this is how it works, right? So so prep was good for you, obviously.
Yeah.
No injuries.
Yeah, no injuries. Prep was good. We were, just slowly bulking up, and I felt that I had that advantage of being able to just take, the last 3, 4, 5 months and just do nothing but just eat and pour into my body and know that I don't have to worry about anything else on meet day. And so, things were tracking in a very good direction. Obviously, didn't do what we were supposed to do today, but in terms of expectations, I was like, I have it written out. I thought that I was good for close to like 935-ish, which would have been like 770 squat, 495 bench, just shy of 800 dead, and obviously didn't pull it all together, but I felt really, really good going into everything, and I was just at peace the whole time.
Well, how about yourself? You had a bit of a tumultuous. I'll let you tell this story.
So, for example, I was under a certain training system going into this prep, and I ran literally the entire thing under that style of training. Had a few, let's say, not personal things, but like some tribulations, and I had to switch coaches 3 weeks out. And found out actually, I think on Tuesday, that I had a death. I had 2 deaths right as I got here.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's okay. But no, I switched coaches 3 weeks out, and we were like, okay, we can experiment with 3 weeks, like 3-week squatting frequency, and pretty much he explained to me that it fit me. It worked. It would have worked. Obviously it did. But we ran it and trained 7 days a week going into this. I haven't stopped training since I switched, actually. But yeah, no, we took the W home, and trusting him to coach me, Evan Hawk, going into this was a little bit a little bit easier, just because we had been really close friends before. But it was definitely, I had crazy nerves going into it, and yeah, the prep went well though. I squatted, I think, 335 going into like my second to last big single. I failed my bench. I failed like 235 the week after that, and then I also failed 380 in the gym that following week.
And why do you think you're failing?
Well, 335 was pretty hard.
Okay.
Oh, man, it was pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Like shades of Russ hitting that massive squat and then failing afterwards, and you knew what happened to Russ. So now, like, holy shit, did I just do the exact same thing?
Yeah, no, it felt melancholic, the right word to use. But no, going into deadlifts that day, I felt confident, I felt strong, but I was just so fatigued from that 335 squat. 380 didn't budge off the floor.
Oh.
And we were a few weeks out now at that point, more than 4. But I was definitely, I needed some reassurance that I was going to be okay to hit some bigger singles. And a few weeks later, we make some changes with the programming, and obviously the coach switch. But we come into I trained into this meet. I've never trained in before, and I've always peaked. And we ran the 7 days a week frequency, and just ran the continuous frequency, and it proved to be sufficient. It proved to be really well, actually. I felt great on the day.
How did you feel with the pressure and the stress? I can't for the life of me imagine being 19 years old. And I know you just turned 20, but like, I can't imagine it. So no, you go ahead.
So the pressure is one thing, the stress is another thing. The pressure really wasn't there. I want to attribute this to Gavin. He said this a while ago. He said, if I can't envision myself hitting something or succeeding at something, then it's less likely that it's going to be there. Going into this, the entire week before, all I could see was myself on the podium. All I could see was myself going 9 for 9, which is crazy to think about, but the only thing I could imagine when I thought about competing was winning. The only thing I could see was me in the first place podium spot the entire week. I couldn't even imagine myself failing any lift. It didn't pop into my head that I was going to lose. And it's not that I was so ego-filled and overconfident that I felt that way, but I take that mentality with everything in training. For 335, I don't have a spotter. I don't have any spotters because I didn't even have a thought that I was going to fail. And I take that with any heavy single. I just settle the nerves. I used to wrestle, and one thing I learned from wrestling is that the anticipation, the antsiness that you feel, you can attribute that to not being nervous. It might feel like nerves, but most of the time you're just excited. And I just keep telling myself, I'm just excited. And after like an hour or so at the beginning of the day, I was just like bouncing off the walls. Yeah, I mean, if you were in the warm room, you saw me on after squats, I was just kind of feeling myself, you know.
You were bouncing around like 2 days ago. I saw you.
Yeah, no, I've been feeling good. The training in is nice. I didn't know it was gonna be this nice, but I'm not used to it because a few days ago, like maybe 3 days ago, I felt terrible. I felt like I could barely get out of bed without like groaning. And it just, the days went by and I felt better and better, like hundreds of percents better. And it was crazy. I was going to say something, I forgot. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll double back to the day of. Cranon, how about yourself? Walking into this, you had showed me some videos. Was it you or Joey?
It was Joey.
Okay. Was he allowed to? Did I just throw him under the bus?
You're one of the trusted few.
Okay, sounds good. But he said, take a look what we're working with. And I was like, holy shit. Your leveling up since Worlds has been incredible. And previous to this, we all knew you were gifted. But you were never like fully in 2 feet. 2 feet in, like, I am a power lifter through and through. What's going to happen if I go through and through? You had chunks of time when you would be. But I remember talking to Joey about, like, if she goes all in, who knows? And first year at Worlds, bronze. Second year, silver, by this much. And it was Carlina, no less, and it was by this much. What changed? Was it after Worlds that you decided, I'm going all in? Did you go all in? Are you all in right now? Is this the byproduct? Like, what is the difference year over year? Because holy smokes, it's a huge difference.
Yeah. No, I haven't gone all in. I wish I can say that I was all in. There's been plenty of talks with me about going all in. I do a lot outside of powerlifting. I actually would not even say like, oh yeah, I'm a power lifter. Like, I'm an athlete. I was a college athlete, D1 athlete. My father was an athlete. What I do on the platform is so much bigger than just lifting kilos. So it's like, woo, yeah, you know, like, I would like to start going all in. I do have some, T's that aren't crossed and I's that aren't dotted and stuff. But yeah, I'm baby steps into it. It's been a process, and I haven't been doing it long, so it's kind of just like I juggle so much already. So getting on the platform is a lot. I do put a lot into it. But yeah, so not all in yet, but we're getting there.
It's crazy that wasn't all in, by the way, but holy smokes. So what would you attribute this massive growth from just last June, which isn't a lot of time? But the numbers I saw in those videos, and obviously what we just saw on the platform, was there any kind of change, or was it just the normal growth that you would have gotten either which way?
No, just kind of normal growth, really. I did start changing a little bit stuff on my squat, and I think that definitely showed. But really just pouring into my mentality and all that. Today, what happened today wasn't oh my gosh, like I didn't know this would happen. Like I've always known, like when I first started, that this day would come. And really just putting my faith into God, like all glory to God and stuff. And, I truly believe like I don't have a ceiling. And, when my faith is so strong that, I'll do things that people thought was impossible. That has been my number one prayer since I started this sport is allow me to do things that people think is impossible. And, I give glory to him. So that's really it.
Okay, let's walk through the day. Sensational battle in the 93s, a lot of surprises. And then we'll walk through your day and how you felt, because I think there was kilos left on the table for sure, which is crazy because you got the biggest 76 kilo total. Agatha's got the biggest unofficial, but you left kilos off the bench, and I think you would have maxed out even Agatha's shitco, which is crazy. In powerlifting, there's Agatha and then there's everybody else, but not anymore. So we'll talk about that day. Delaney, walk us through squats for you. Massive 10 kilo personal best.
Yeah. Squats, I was just super confident, knowing that I didn't have to cut. I had like 4 meals in me by the time I weighed in. And just training went well. I stayed in the pocket, didn't do anything heavy. And, we thought that, my top end was around what I ended up doing. I think maybe we ended up going maybe like 5 kilos short of what we were like really aiming for, but just wanted to make sure everything was good. But I just remember doing my last warm up. I just felt good. Went up to the, did my first attempt. And I think the first attempt is like, for me, for football, is like you're nervous until kickoff. And then when kickoff happens, it's like, all right, like we settled it in, we're good. So it's like, as long as I make it past my first attempt, everything else from there is easy. And so, opened up and I was just like, all right, hey, the first attempt, that's just a formality. Second attempt, I was like, hey, this is, again, just a formality to set up the third. I was a little frustrated that we didn't go the 5 kilos heavier, but I understood why, just because my walkout on my second was a little like shaky. And so we understood that, the person that goes 9 for 9 or close there to it, or 6 for 6 going into deadlifts, that's, going to set you up. And so, I just remember going out for my third squat. I was like, why is it shaking so much on the unrack? That was the only thing. I was like, what the hell is going on? But, once I settled in and I braced, I just, I knew it was going up, and it just felt like a formality, right? I think like when you train and you know that you did everything that you were supposed to do every single day up until training, once you get to meet day, again, I think it's just a formality of all of the work that you put in prior to that. And so, there's very little nerves. I felt like it was supposed to happen. And yeah, I mean, squats felt good, and I think there might have been a little bit, there, maybe not, and just continuing to build on it.
I could tell you watching, you load up 345, and I know SBD Austin, you were 10 kilos below that, and as the viewer, and you didn't post any training, I'm thinking like, is this too much? Is this overly ambitious? Or what are we looking at here? If you're 10 kilos up on only the first discipline already, where might you be? Are you paying attention though to the other 93s at this moment?
No. I mean, I've always been like that ever since the day I started competing. I believe that if I go 9 for 9, I have the day that I'm supposed to have, and I cap out my frame, then what everybody else does not matter, right? One, for two reasons. I think that the ceiling is high enough that I'll put up a total that will make anybody have to reach, and then it's just, hey, whoever has it on that day. But also, like, the thing about football, it's not, the thing about powerlifting, it's not like football, it's not like basketball, it's not like any other sport where I can do anything that disrupts what the other person does. Right? Football, you run a different scheme, you line up in a different formation, you think it's a cover 2, ends up being cover 1, you blown play, win, right? In powerlifting, there's absolutely nothing that I can do to force somebody to load up 400 kilos on a squat when they're supposed to load up 300, right? And so it seems like just a waste of time and mental space to even care what anybody else is doing. And so I've just always been like that, right? I remember, before we turned on, like, first competition, Sheffield Worlds, South Africa, you're like, oh, you're going up against Tim Madigati. I was like, that sounds like a car. Like, who is that? Right? And it wasn't
so disrespectful.
For me, and I know that I think for a lot of people that can come off disrespectful.
I'm joking.
No, but I'm very self-aware. And for me, it's not the fact that I have disrespect for any person that I compete against. I just understand the fact that there is absolutely nothing that I can do, that I can say, that I can think that will disrupt anything that they do. And so it's nothing but a waste of space and mental effort and energy to think about anything else. And so it's very common for me to not know what's going on until I'm getting to maybe the second deadlift, right? It wasn't until we got to essentially the third deadlift that I realized it was just me and him. I just assumed that it's me, Kaiko. I assumed Gavin was in there if he had hit all his third squats. I didn't know if he did or not. And I was just like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's what Joey's here for. And yeah, my job's just to execute.
I'll tell you what people like DMing me while I'm commentating. I'll tell you how this started, like the people's perception as it's going. But right off the hop, you surprise people with your squat, 345. Holy shit. How about you, young man? Walk us through yours, where you end up, and are you paying attention to everyone else and seeing who's faltering, who's hitting?
So one thing I want to say is I agree with Delaney so much. Like, I couldn't agree with more, because it's like, for example, the winner is decided after the last taper single. Whoever's strongest on the day is already there, right? It's just a matter of attempt selection and, you know, we play these like fake attempt games sometimes, and I agree with him. Like, you can't do anything to make someone. You can do very little about what someone else's load is, but you can't force them to overreach and, you know, put themselves in a worse spot unless, you know, they make a mistake or anything like that. But that's not your own actions. That's theirs. But pretty much, I didn't pay attention to anybody else except for maybe I watched one or two. I watched the lifting cast for one or two squats. I didn't even know he squatted 345. Also good. That's an insane squat. But I maybe watched the lifting cast for one or two attempts on squat. Had no clue what anybody benched. And same with me. I didn't even look at the board. I didn't even look at the screen until second deadlifts, and I'm loading up my third. But yeah, it's just going through the day was kind of just a soul. I need to put my chips on the table as best as I can, and if I go 9 for 9, the more attempts I make, the better setup I am. We wanted to go in, and I don't know if I said this already, but we wanted to go in and squat 340. I came in here a little light. I think I weighed in at 91.94, something like that. But we came in a little light, and we didn't do that. Took 10 kilos off. Came in on bench a little not fatigued, but again a little light, so it wasn't the strongest. So we took 5 to 7 off of that. Bench 220. But I also did switch from sync to soft touch like, I don't know, 4 weeks ago. So, but yeah, I was extremely happy with the day. Going into squats, most nervous part of the day. Once squats are over, you know, everyone's happy. The hard part's over. But yeah, no. After squats, went 3 for 3. Was completely happy with it. Not even, you know, I'm sure I'm gonna win, but I was a lot more confident in myself with 3 squats on the board. Going into bench, went 6 for 6. After squat and bench, I'm ecstatic, honestly, personally. But again, I'm not paying attention to, you know, Kaiko or Demetrius or him, for example, because I'm more focused on stacking my chips. On deadlift, I'm more focused on putting as many chips as I can on the board to give myself the best edge.
Okay, so we'll go into bench deads, but how about yourself? Ahead of time, you would mention to me you feel nervous, not in that, like there's opposition-wise, you were a heavy favorite, obviously, but did you feel nervous in terms of you have expectations on yourself, performance? How did you feel? You could put it in your own words and then walk us through those squats, because I know how I felt when you loaded up that 240 and it was like, holy smokes. We're going to see you. I was wondering if you're going to drop the hammer today, because you probably didn't need to. And the decision on that, did you tell Joey we're dropping the hammer? Give us a behind the scenes.
So if most people know me, I have a saying, it's just the bar. I live it. So I actually don't know what's on the platform when it's loaded. I still I really don't even know all the numbers that I actually hit today. So whatever he loads, that's what we're doing. And I just tell him, I say, load it, and I'm gonna just do it. So I didn't know it was on the bar. So I wasn't super happy with my squats today. I wanted them to, now after knowing that like what he told me I hit for the third, I wanted a little bit, you know, maybe even if we stayed there just to make it feel a little bit better. But I was decently happy with it. It was cool.
So you actually were anticipating a bigger number?
No, I didn't know we were going to load that much.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because I wasn't feeling great. I didn't know we took the world record on the second, because I don't know the number. So I just go based off of how I'm feeling, and that's it. So I wasn't really sure what we were doing or anything like that. So I was just kind of in there, you know. So it was chill.
Did you know how much that third squat was going to be beforehand?
No. I didn't know. All my friends and my fiance, he was like, I was like, oh, we chipped it. He looked at me, he said, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
It was like, you ain't chipped nothing.
No.
I was like, Joey, what did I hit?
Yeah,
and he
looked
at me, he was like, should I even tell her? And so even on bench, I didn't know what I hit. Deadlift, I didn't know what I was hitting. So I live by just the bar. Like, whatever's on there, I'm going to just do. So it was cool, though. It was good.
You seemed hyped coming up with the last one. Did you, because the thing is, sometimes it gets so quiet, and I see the lifters hear me commentating, saying the words, saying like this is the equivalent of the world record. This is a 15 kilo personal best. And the crowd is going crazy and on their feet. When you came out, were you under the impression, holy shit, there's a lot of people getting excited for this one? This has got to be something big. Did you feel, because you looked hyped for it?
No, sometimes I kind of like black out a little bit and I'm just like, okay, like get up there, unrack, squat, stand up. So, no, I thought we got the world record on the third. I didn't know we went for it on the second. So I didn't know because I wasn't feeling good in squats today. I felt really bad. I was telling my friends and them, I was like, yeah, I was like, bro, like I'm not feeling great. That didn't move good. And I sank it on the third one too. Yeah. So I probably didn't need to do that. But I was getting anxiety. I'm like, I don't want to miss depth. So yeah, I'm sure maybe if I didn't sink it as much, maybe it would have moved a little bit better. But I mean, it was good. I just squat, man.
Did Joey tell you what it was after the fact, after it's all said and done, you go in the back?
Yeah.
And how did you think at that moment?
I was like, it's just a bar. Like, yeah. I was like, oh, we in there now. My whole energy changed. I was like, bet we good. Like, let's just finish the meet real quick and stuff. So I was just like, period. It's nothing I didn't know I couldn't do. So it was just like, oh, doing it on the platform is what always matters. I do a lot of other content and stuff, so I don't always post power. I actually don't post a lot of powerlifting at all. So I've done a lot more than that, but I've also, my training's been decent. I'm dealing with the injury in my knee right now, so I was just happy that I was able to execute on the platform, especially with the injury right now.
I know for us, the viewers and commentary, I'm doing the math. And what your previous personal best and what the new personal best, and it was like, holy shit, where are we going to end up with this? I ran to the back and I was like, Joey, well, I won't bury the story on bench. We'll swing around about bench, but after bench, it's like, Joey, you guys are dropping the hammer a little bit on deadlifts, right? Because it looked like you had so much more on bench. Your all three of your lifts have improved so much. We'll get the bench in 1 sec, though. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Delaney, your bench press, another PR for you. At this, I know you're not looking at anybody else, but walk us through bench press. You started in and about like you did SBD Austin, but you finished off not a huge PR, but a 2.5 kilo PR. Is this what you anticipated?
Yeah, no, I think for bench, that was probably outside of the third deadlift, of course. But I think at that point in time, bench, I was happy that I went 6 for 6. I knew that no matter what, that just put me in a position that it will come down to the last deadlift to some degree. And, you play the game and you understand that the people that make the most attempts, not just attempt the heaviest weight, are in the position to win. But I think bench was the one thing that I was a little disappointed in, just because I hit more in training. I remember unracking, three reds, a green, and a collar, and I was like, this feels heavier than usual. And so I was like, okay, we just got to continue to lock in on that end. But so I was a little disappointed on bench. We went, maybe 5 or so, maybe 7.5 lighter than what I wanted to. But again, putting trust in Joey and knowing that, at the end of the day, you're going to look at objectively how I look on the day. And bench didn't feel great. But I did know that hitting 3 squats, hitting 3 benches, no matter what, was going to put me in a position where on deadlifts, we'll get to decide. So bench was a little bittersweet. Obviously a PR is always great, but you always want and shoot for more. But yeah, no, that was kind of that.
I could tell you right now, before I bring it over to your bench press, by the time bench was done, and this is where things really started to reveal. So first off, Kaiko, who in terms of the 93 kilo class, probably the most decorated 93 we've had.
Yeah.
And Mr. Consistent. And he missed 2 of 3 squats. And for the first time ever, missed his... You look... Is this the first time you're hearing this?
Yeah, he missed.
He
missed 2.
He missed
By
2
the time
squats.
bench was done, he had missed 3 lifts. And Kaiko never misses his third bench. He missed it at Worlds, and he missed his third bench. It was rattling, and some other people were missing. Gavin Aiden missed his opening squat, jumped 30 to 40 kilos, and talk about all or nothing, and hit, and then missed his third squat, but was still reasonably in the game. And then opened on bench press, jumped 30 kilos on bench, and then hit. And it's like, this guy is like crazy. Talk about all or nothing. And then from what happened at Kaiko to what's happening, like so many different people. And my phone is blowing up, and people are saying, like Penna, for instance, in France, and all the Europeans are like, by the time bench had wrapped, and we'll walk through your bench, but by the time bench had wrapped, they were saying, holy shit, this is going to be Delaney and Will Ball. And that was not necessarily the head-to-head everybody was saying coming in. But by the time the smoke had cleared, people had fallen back, and people had risen, and people are like, either Delaney or Will Ball are going to take this. So just to give you guys a little perspective, Will, how did bench feel for you? And I'm surprised. It's crazy. You're just finding out everything that happened around you.
I mean, when I said I don't really pay attention much on the lifting cast and comp, I really did mean that. What's crazy is Delaney almost like a word for word would have explained how my bench went as well, because it didn't feel as strong, mainly just because I was a bit lighter. I was like 3 kilos lighter than I was in training. But yeah, like the same here. I benched more in training. I'm a lot stronger than 220. But I did sink 230. But yeah, we took our first, and the first felt good. It felt a bit heavy in my hand. Same with me. I took 195 or 192 and a half, and it felt okay. It didn't feel the lightest because I've done that for like 6. But like, we opened 207 and a half, and it moved. Obviously, it was reliable. Soft touch is great. I love it. But
is that right? That was the big question afterwards, because if it was going to impact any of the 93s anyways, we would have thought would have impacted you the most, but no issues.
Yeah, I switched. I think I mentioned I switched a few weeks ago, but I had benched 225 in training, soft touch, and it moved pretty well. It moved around RPE 8, so I was pretty confident coming in that I would be able to bench 220 to 227 and a half. And we did exactly that, but it was just a little bit weaker than we expected. And going into deadlifts, I'll continue on bench. Getting ahead of myself here, but we took our second attempt, and I thought it was 220. I thought it was way heavier than it was, kind of not taking away from Cranon's input, but I don't like to know what's on the bar. I don't really pay attention to what they're loading, and I think there's some snippet of me saying this about Origins. I never look at lift and cast if I'm in my flow state, but if I'm in my groove, I'm not really going to pay attention to, what they're loading. I told Evan Hawk, I said, yeah, don't tell me what you're loading unless the day's over. But going into second bench, I think it was 212 and a half. I don't remember. But I took that, and I look at the board, and I don't know if we fake attempt. Did I? I don't know if we put 230 down. I look at the board, and I thought I was benching 230, and I get under the bar, and I'm like, is this 230? It felt a little light. But the third bench, it was interesting. I think it was my left arm locked first, and off the chest, I was confident. It felt heavy, but I was confident. I was like, oh, I'm completely fine. I feel I'm gripping on the new Hyper Vs are sticking to the floor, and my back is sticking on the bench, and I felt completely confident all the way through. Locked my right arm, and we take those,
And at this point, so you are, when you're saying you're feeling confident, you're letting everybody know. You were like yelling to the crowd, celebrating. So I'm a little bit surprised you weren't paying attention to the other lifters, because you would have thought you understood that a lot of people started falling back. But I guess you're just confident in what you're actually doing yourself. And
sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Up until deadlifts, they had told me it was between me and Delaney. At the start of deadlifts, after bench was finished. And I was like, okay, but I hadn't looked at the lifting cast. I still haven't even seen who loaded what or who missed what. Maybe like 1 or 2 people, but again, I was just kind of feeling myself, If I was going to make a fool of myself doing that, I was going to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
But, I was just really confident. I knew I had 6 attempts on the board with not a single red light yet, so I was, just in my zone.
It couldn't be that bad. Exactly.
If I already committed to the Aura Farm and the Aura Gamble weeks ago.
The Aura Gamble, I like it.
If I was going to make a fool of myself, I was going to do it in style.
Fair enough. How about yourself? Bench press. You equaled your PR, but your bench is way more than that now. It looked like all warm-ups. How did it feel to you?
It felt light, yeah. So I'm not the strongest bencher, but definitely making my way up there. So I guess we'll just see soon and see what I can do and see how much I'll have to push at Worlds and stuff. So
Was it? Did you have input on those numbers?
No.
Okay.
Okay. I when I say I have, like they're like calling like I did 2 da 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 da. I don't know kgs. I don't know what I hit. I don't know what my attempts were. I don't know what anyone. I know nothing. Like when it comes to powerlifting talk, I'm just like, okay, like I don't know. I don't know.
That probably helps. How about in prep for this though? Because you equaled your PR, but in prep, were you well above? Because obviously prep was going well because you destroyed that really easy on the platform.
For bench, prep was not great actually. It was
Really?
Just, yeah. It was just I felt like I was kind of coasting for a second. I was like, ooh, I'm feeling bench. But I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Training's training.
Right.
So I've been an athlete since I was 7, so it's kind of just like you get those ups and downs and stuff, and sometimes you get, some other lifts might take over and maybe hold that fatigue and hide some stuff. So I just trust the training and do what I have to do on the platform. So it wasn't the best, but I mean, it showed up well, and I'm glad that now I feel confident. Like I'm going 3 for 3 on bench and knowing like, okay, like this is at the bare minimum. This is what we got. Yeah.
You should be at the very least in the 130s. For sure now.
What's that in pounds?
You're collecting, what is that in pounds? Are we talking?
Cool. I'm with powerlifters for real.
Either way.
I don't know what that is.
The lady's got us. The lady's got us.
Well, because 120 is
286.
286.
Oh, I hit more than that though.
Oh,
in
did you?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you hit in training in pounds?
In pounds, 292.
Okay, so it was semi-reserved then. I think like the thing is, when Worlds comes, I'll ask you guys about the future, but you won't need. I'm assuming you won't need any of this.
Oh, I bet not. I don't.
Holster it for Sheffield, but at least you're collecting data points. To your point, it's one thing to do it in prep. It's a whole nother thing to do it on the platform. There's a lot of rules when it comes to bench press. There's even more rules all the time being added, and it's very difficult. So to hit it on the platform and be as smooth as that, okay, I'm above that now.
Yeah.
Worlds comes.
Yeah, I'm very strict about all that stuff. That's why I sink. I've never had a crazy arch, and I try to be clean on the platform. So I try to practice how I compete. So I like to stay clean.
It paid off. Okay, let's get to the deadlifts. Delaney, I can tell you right now, at this point, you and Will Ball go back and forth, assuming the number 1 position. At what point, if you go, you're in first place. He goes, he's in first place. And I know you're not, well, you tell me, at what point are you paying attention? But Joey has the proper final attempt for you to put you into first place near the end. At any point do you realize, because I know you're not paying attention to Kaiko, but Joey is Kaiko's coach as well, and he's also your coach. At any point are you getting a vibe, Kaiko's no longer in this, despite the fact it's Kaiko? From Joey, from the rest of the room, you probably could tell Will is still in this, but what did you feel like at this moment?
At this point in time, I guess you're talking about going into third deadlifts?
Walk us through deadlifts, but was there a point in time you caught a vibe? Kaiko must be out.
I happened to see Kaiko miss his third bench because I went to the bathroom and I walked out. He happened to be going. And so I assumed that he had made all 3 squat attempts, and Kaiko, I just assumed he loaded 600 on bench and missed it and hit 470, like 572. Right. Like, it's just so massive. So I figured this plays into my favor. It's still me, Will, Gavin, Kaiko, just because conceptually those are just all the people that I just figured were going to be around there. So I just thought everybody was still there. It wasn't until I got to my third deadlift and Joey looked at me and he said, "We're going to do 355. Because is going to put you back in first, and it's going to force Will to have to deadlift over 800 twice, which is a taller task. I thought it was going to move really easily because I thought the only reason I knew what 355 was because I thought in my head the top end was closer to like 365. And I don't really know what that is exactly in pounds, but I just knew that was
That's
what
800.
what I want. Yeah, that's what I wanted and needed. I knew it was around there where it was a little up or a little down. And so I was disappointed that we were in the position of, oh, hey, do less than what I thought we were capable of. Obviously, it all played out, and I didn't even get that. So that was the frustrating thing because, you hit it in training. I pretty much hit that at 83. But it wasn't until that moment when he said, this is what I'm going to do because it's going to be easy, and it's going to force Will to have to deadlift 800 twice. And, I was just like, okay, I understand it, and I'm sure there's a good reason for it. I have no clue how much, he deadlifts, but I just know that generally speaking, regardless, 83, 93, whatever, doing it twice is, more difficult. And I was like, all right, I understand that I'm not the person that's going to pull last, right? I might squat last, I might be close to benching last, but pulls, I'll always be somewhere in the middle. And so I just wanted to force whoever was still in the game to go 9 for 9, if you're going to beat me. So it wasn't until that moment that I knew that it was just me and Will. But even in that moment, I just figured Kaiko was somewhere in there, but maybe it missed a deadlift or something like that. But I wasn't fully aware until like that moment. That's when I knew what was exactly going on. But I believed that I was somewhere in the mix of being able to pull for the win.
Ramsey, was it you who told me you were backstage and you heard what Joey Flex told Delaney before the final pull? Tell me what you heard.
No, I can't comment. You have to remind us.
Okay, well, man, it was so good. Was it you who told me when we were out there?
I don't think it was me that told you, no.
Mo, was it you?
About what?
Okay. I remember somebody said essentially, I'm going to paraphrase, but I'm also going to get in storyteller mode, so it's going to sound better than probably the realistic truth was. But something along the lines of, we have to do a 20-kilo jump, and it has to be 20 kilos. And this is we're putting all of our chips in the middle. And was that you, Mo?
It was me actually.
And it was probably both of you guys back then. And you said that moment, and Delaney's response was, okay, load it up. This is what we're here for. This is for first place. It's between you and Will. And your response was, do it. Without any hesitation. And the reason why, as the commentator, the viewer, and everyone watching was, despite the fact this was such a stacked class of 93s, every single other 93 on the day had conceded that Will Ball had already won and pulled for second or third. And you were the only 93 who stood up and said, I am pulling for first. And you are going to go out on your shield. And that is why, as a viewer, it means something to have you there, a two-time world champ. If you didn't do that, I can't emphasize enough how much more deflating it is to be watching. And by the end, nobody's pulling to challenge this young man. At the very least, load it. I hit, he has to come out. We needed that moment. And to hear Joey Flex in the back say, it's going to be you, and we need 20. And your response was, load it. And if you miss, you're falling back. Load it. And you came out. That's why it was important. You were here, Delaney. Sorry, you were going to say something?
I wanted to ask, was this after seconds or was this after first?
This was
after first deadlift, no?
It was after second.
It was after second, going into thirds. So you had hit your first two, and your total was, I think, 915. Delaney was loading up, so he would be at 917 and a half and force you, so if you came out and missed.
If I can add something, my handlers also kind of told me something similar. Maybe not for pulling for first, but I had pulled my 335, and it felt amazing. It felt flawless in terms of the day. I have more to say, but I pulled that. I walked back to the warm-up room, and they say if we load 365 or 360, it's done. It's over. And I kind of had the same reaction as Delaney. I said, load it. Why not?
I think it was 365.
I don't remember.
I think it's
I
365.
didn't see the number.
And to Delaney's point, you were going to have to do that twice.
Yep.
And so that's why both of you guys are champions. That's why both of you guys have that attitude. The thing is, despite the fact that your handler was saying, we load this, it's over, these guys were saying, it ain't over yet. Load it up.
That's
Everyone else
the
did,
champion
though.
mentality, though. If we load 20 and he says,
God bless. Everyone else, though, was like, yes, it's over. Once you hit that. They actually agreed with the coach. It's over. Except for Delaney.
I think it's interesting. One, I think the reason why I answered so quickly was 20 kilos in my mind for deadlift it's the same thing as what I did before. Like I think my last warm up to my opener was like 572. And then I just jump a red.
Especially
I
on
just
deadlift,
jump
so.
reds on like squat and bench squat and deadlift for the most part. So 20 kilos, I'm just like, oh, okay, like this is just normal, right? This is a
especially
lesser
on
jump than
deadlift,
I would
it's
have,
like, that's
would have made. But the interesting thing in terms of you bringing up the point that everybody else just said, I'll pull for second or third or whatever. Funny enough, my girlfriend had brought it up we were going on like a walk to get our steps in. And she had brought it up because I think that Taylor had said something on like a podcast or something along the lines of like, do you pull for the win even if it feels like it's out of reach? Or do you get second or third? I think they were maybe talking about somebody had like gotten second, then like got the alternate spot to Worlds, and then, kind of gone, that path. And I think even if Joey said load 60 kilos, I think the answer would have been the same because for me at least, nothing else matters but winning. Like, great, I got second. Great, we totaled the second best total at this. Like, great. Like, I've done it all already. You know what I'm saying? I've gone to Worlds. I've won the thing. I've gone to Sheffield. Like, I care about absolutely nothing else but winning. Like even if things played out in my favor, and you go to Worlds, and I know always the conversation is, hey, like, if you could do more, do you pull it back so you can whatever for Sheffield and whatever the case may be? And it's like, and for me, like that isn't an option. Like if I could total 980 at Worlds, I would do it, knowing that probably destroys any hope or prayer of podium at Sheffield, because I don't care about the money. I don't care about whatever anybody has to like say or think about my lifting, which is why like the posting thing and not posting like doesn't mean anything to me. I want nothing else but to win, And so it does not even dawn on me for a second, pull for second, maybe somebody drops out, then you can still go to Worlds and you get a second crack at it. Like I don't want my fate in anybody's hands other than my own. And I can't relate to any other mindset other than that. And so it's interesting that you bring it up from that standpoint in terms of like from a viewer standpoint. It might have been surprising or 20 kilos or whatever. It would have been whatever. And I had made up that my mind in that because, the one message that you sent out to me before, competition started, like, I haven't seen anything. Like, you got anything for me? I was like, I'm just going to see you in Dubai. Yeah. Like that's it. Like I did the training and the meet is just a formality of that. And so I cannot express enough how much I just viscerally want nothing else but to win. And so that's why that decision was so easy. And, in some ways, like I was almost frustrated that it wasn't enough. Right. And so it's just interesting, I guess, the framing of it. Like for some people, it's like, hey, like, do we play the game? And for me, I think there's just nothing else but the game of trying to win. Like I'm just trying to do this for the art of competition,
I know you got plans afterwards. You got to go? Are you okay?
Yeah, I think we already missed the reservations. What time is it?
We can still make it.
Yeah. But
It's
do you have
okay.
any
If
other
you got to
last
go,
questions?
well, first off, what's your next plans in terms of the future? And then we'll let you go.
Worlds.
You got Worlds, and then are you planning on going all out? Like Delaney's saying, obviously you got Sheffield. You're going to be a heavy favorite. Given your total and where your total is today, I don't know if you took a lay of the land for all the other classes, but the world records are rather high. World records still pretty high in your weight class, but your top end looks well above from what we've seen today. At Worlds, are we going to see a somewhat pulled back version, and then you go all out on Sheffield?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. You gotta ask Joey.
Yeah, but
I don't
that's
know.
the
I just be lifting. It's like I'm actually quite the opposite of Delaney. I am winning because I was a college athlete. I know what it feels like to put all of your heart and your energy into winning, and that is something that is controllable to a certain extent. But what I do on the platform is not about winning. I win every single time I step on the platform. What I do for my community, what I do as a woman, a black woman, I do everything to show women, change the narrative. Like, you can be strong, you can be beautiful, like black women can, be in a sport that wasn't made for us. What I do is so much bigger than deadlifting, than benching, than squatting. I'm so passionate about my community and who I'm reaching. If I can go on that platform and I get third and there's a little girl that says, I want to be like her when I grow up. And she just turns into an athlete and she doesn't stray away from having big biceps or, I'm going to look like a man or masculine, then I won. That is what I care about. I care about changing the community. It's cool to be strong. I'm a very strong girl. I take pride in that. But it's so much more to reach others and to inspire others and to allow women to look at me and be a beacon for my community and to share that. I've changed thousands of lives and thousands of minds in changing the gym industry. There was not a girl like me when I first started in the gym, not even powerlifting, in the gym. Muscles wasn't feminine, being strong wasn't beautiful, and I get to be a part of changing that narrative and be a beacon for other little girls that look like me. That is winning to me. It's a plus that I get to be one of the best in the world. Well, I guess technically. Unofficially.
Right.
Unofficially, that is a blessing in itself, but I know what it feels like to put winning over everything on the platform, and it almost destroyed me as a college track athlete. I've struggled with mental health. That's why I have It's Just the Bar. That is my everything. That is my heart, my soul, but my community is what keeps me above water. That is bigger than anything that I can ever do on the platform.
And how big would it be, do you think, if you became a world champion? When you walk in a room, to whether you're giving speeches, meeting people for the first time, or those kids following you and it's world champion attached to you, your story becomes so much bigger. Your reach becomes so much bigger when you have that. Everybody knows there's certain, if it's a Super Bowl, culturally bigger in North America and other places, World Cup, a world champion transcends all sports. Say less, we know exactly what that means. What would that mean to you to attach that to your name, your story, and that is a massive beacon?
Powerlifting for me is a stepping stone and a platform that allows me to reach women that are not in America. I'm hosting Just the Bar Classic, and the amount of women that are stepping onto the platform for the first time is insane. I have more women than men, and that's not super common when it comes to the sport of powerlifting. Also, when I win 76 kg, I will be the first black woman to ever win the 76 kg category. That means everything to me. It's changing the narrative. It's changing the sport. It's showing women that this is not a sport just for men. It's not a sport just for, black women can do this sport. We can be successful in it. It's something that a lot of old college athletes, it's something that we can do. I know a lot of college athletes feel lost after, when they my all was into track and being D1, and that's what I accomplished. That was my all. Powerlifting was never, I didn't start at 19 or anything I was a D1 that's what I was doing to, compete I was a Power 5 athlete. So that was my everything. So I know what it feels like to be like, this is my worth. My whole entire worth was wrapped up into being this college athlete. And it's like, I'm so much more than that. I'm so much more powerful. And powerlifting just allows me to be graceful and beautiful and strong and show so many other women, like, this is what strength looks like mentally and physically. And that is so much more amazing to me than just, that's why I don't care what the numbers are. Awesome. I know I'm strong. I already know that. I know I'm the best in the world. I know that. Whether it was when I got third at Worlds or second, like I know because I trust my faith in God, that is all that matters. I don't need to know. The outside noise is just noise. That's why I don't care. You can name, oh, so-and-so and so. That doesn't matter. My community, what I'm leaving on the platform is what matters. That's why at last Worlds, I was like, I won. I always win. I can never lose when I put God first and I put my community first.
What are your future plans for powerlifting? Are you going to stay 76 and make a run of this, or what do you foresee in the future?
I don't really know. It's just because I feel like I'm like, now my feet are wet. I'm like, okay, I'm in it now. I feel more experienced within the sport, but I don't like to put the cart before the horse. Like I just focus on what's at task at hand. So hasn't even crossed my mind to jump around. I don't even I don't bulk, I don't cut. I just kind of walk around at my weight, make weight, do my lifts, and say thank you and call it a day. So whatever God has in plan for me, whether that's moving up or staying or going down, I'm not sure. Whatever, it's not up to me. It's up to God. So whatever he has for me, I'll know.
You're going to be a heavy favorite for Worlds. I know you guys got plans, so I'll leave it at this, but you're going to be a heavy favorite for Worlds. From Worlds to Sheffield, do us a favor. Go all in for the first time ever and drop it on it. Drop it on them. And let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, you personally know I've had a lot of haters within the sport. Even just being me and I don't talk. I know you're super I've seen the edits and stuff. You be talking your shit. Period. I'm not mad at it. I'm not like that. I'm very much just cool, yeah, woo. I just do my thing. I train. I show up when I need to show up, and that's what it is. So I got you. I do plan to go at 2 feet in. Let's do it. This is what we want to do. So shout out to my haters, because I'm here now. I'm not just an influencer. I know that was a big talk when I first started, that, oh, she wouldn't make it. I came back, oh, she got lucky and stuff. So today I am undeniable, and that's simply what it is. No matter if I continue to powerlift or I don't, I will always be undeniable.
Sounds good. Thank you. And if you guys got to leave, I apologize for taking, I know it took you, I kept you longer than I said I would have. But yeah. So did you got to leave, or?
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, it's time to go. But I really appreciate all the support you've always given me from day one. You remember when I was just a baby powerlifter?
I do remember the first nationals. And I'll see you wherever the heck we end up being at PF Worlds.
Yes, thank you. And then congratulations to both of you guys. You guys did amazing.
Thank you.
Period. Y'all better eat that up. Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to keep you a stitch long. Are you okay
I'm
to
fine,
stay a stitch? You, sir?
I'm chilling.
Okay, good. All right, so
Did you want me to move?
yeah, come on over, sir.
It's making so much different.
Oh, my knees.
Oh yes, please. That'd be good.
Sure.
Ooh, the headphones change everything.
Oh, the headphones are everything.
Yeah, I gotta.
I'm telling you.
I took them off, and now it's okay.
When you're listening to Delaney talk about out on his shield like that, and only for the win, is this the type of mentality that you came in with? I know you weren't paying attention to necessarily what everyone else was doing, but could you, if you had popped your head up from the sand for a second there, come the deadlifts, and let's say the roles were reversed, do you see yourself pulling for the win or pulling for anything else less than the win?
I mean, I was prepared to pull 400 kilos on this day, so I feel like if I was told I had to, same subtotal, same everything, if he had hit more, if he was in a better position than I was, and we needed to load 20 kilos, 40 kilos on my 35 kilos on whatever I needed, thank you, I would have been completely okay, completely content with loading 395, 397 and a half, 400, whatever I needed, really, because I was completely confident in my ability, and I had stated in multiple different areas that I was prepared to pull whatever to win. And when I hear Delaney talk about, the mindset, and he's coming here to do nothing but win, I feel like that's a pretty it's a pretty relatable mindset. It's very, I respect it a lot as a competitor, and personally, I feel the exact same way. I came here to do nothing but put my best chips on the table and, put myself in the best position to win.
When you find out after the fact that everyone else had conceded and Delaney was the only one that pulled, are you happier that somebody was there that pulled, and there was a little bit of drama there at least?
Oh, you're talking about after the second deadlift? Or
After the second deadlift, when everyone had already, your second deadlift, your coaches were right. When they said, I think 365 should lock it up, it locked it up, and everyone else said, God bless, will you have it?
I had no clue.
Are you happy, though, now that you know that at least somebody was like, hang on a second?
100%. And then did Meach do the same? Did he? Because I know he attempted 400.
Not for first place.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, no, I had no clue that anybody else was pulling for first. I really had no clue that it was locked up. I believed them. I said, okay, let's load 360, whatever, and let's get this. Let's try to get this locked up. And I pulled it. I felt completely confident in my own ability, and I felt great in myself. And I was preparing for the third deadlift. It's not over. We pulled 2 deadlifts, and we may or may not have locked it up. I was completely prepared for somebody, in his case, to be pulling for first, because the worst possible case scenario is I have a day like that. I'm OR farming, I'm OR gambling, all these clips are popping off, and I sell the bag. So he pulls for first, and I'm celebrating off somewhere. I still, again, obviously after the second deadlift, I didn't know if that locked it up, but I'm glad that somebody did try to pull for first. 100%. And I don't know if you did get it or not.
He missed his third, and that's where I'll ask you about that. Then we'll talk to you. You got the win. You're moving forward at Worlds, and a bit about the future for you. So that third pull, difficult. I've known you for years now, and you know that. And it's tough because I seen you get emotional afterwards. But this is sports, and it brings out these moments. I've seen you at the highest of highs, winning world championships, and then again when you miss that last pull, and it's the agony of defeat. But at the very least, now that you're slightly removed from it, is there any solace knowing I went out on my shield? I am who I said I was going to be. Is there any end? Answer that, and then also what you take from this moving forward in the future.
Sorry, I'm taking a second. I'm kind of thinking through it. I don't do a very good job at taking consolation prizes, right? I mean, I was emotional after my last Sheffield, after I broke the world record, because in my mind, I was like, this wasn't a high enough total to get me to Worlds. Like, in my mind, I was like, I needed to do more, even though coming off an injury, like, almost dropped out there the whole 9 yards. And so, like, I do a very poor job at accepting almost any form of success because I believe that I should do it. When I do it, I believe I should do it. And it's not from a sense of like, I think that I'm egotistical or I think I'm the best. It's because I genuinely believe more often than not that I've given absolutely everything that I can. And so when good things happen, it's nothing but a formality of the work that I've already put in and I've done, right? That's the mindset. And so when I fall short of that, it's frustrating. All said and done, there is a little bit of, comfort in knowing like, hey, like we started this thing and I was supposed to be dead last. And I was like, I knew I wasn't going to be. I knew that I was going to be pulling for the win or in that area. And so there is some comfort in like, hey, like I'm here, I'm not filled out. Like I had 5 meals before I walked onto the platform. Like, like I'm chilling. So I know that there's more needs to be done. But there is that just stinging feeling. One, because it's the third deadlift, and I have this hit or miss thing with it that I don't understand. Right, the weight that we went for on the third was something that I've done before. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary, and it's actually pretty close to what I did at 83. And so it stings for multiple reasons, just because I expect that of myself. Like that felt like when he's like, "Oh, you have to do 355." I'm just like, okay. I mean, if we only have to do that little, I guess like we'll just play the game. It didn't even occur to me that it was going to be a failure. of a lift. And so, that's stinging. And I think also is just, I think part of the emotion that comes from that is like you do all the work. And I think more importantly, like the people around you pour into you as well, right? Like my mom, my sister, my girlfriend does, my nutrition, and like I physically see how much effort she puts into, hey, this is what you need to eat today versus this. Like I physically see that, right? And so when I compete or when I do anything, or even when I train, which I think is also part of the thing that like keeps me in the pocket and do what I need to do and not like overshoot for the sake of trying to get some praise from the guys in the gym, it's like when so many people around you believe in you so much and pour so much into you, you just feel like the result is also a representation of the work and the energy and the love and the care that they put into you. And so I think that's also what it like, I'll think about this last deadlift forever, right? And although, regardless of whether I pulled it or not, it wouldn't have ended up mattering, right? The gamble that we were going to play didn't end up, really mattering because he hit his third. But just, it will always sting, right? It will always sting. I still remember my first Sheffield barely missing the world record. It always stings. And so like that's the feeling around it, right? So there is some comfort in knowing like, yeah, like I am exactly who I said, I was, in the sense of, I'm here, right? Like I will be pulling for first. Now, who comes out on top, like, that's in God's hands, but like I will be there. But there's always just that stinging feeling of knowing that it's something that you should have done and you didn't. And, you just try to look back at film and like, what could I have done better? What could I have done different? Did I rush? Did I do whatever? And it'll just always be there.
How many calories are you on?
I think the day before the meet, I had 4,000 calories.
What's his normal calories?
Should I say it?
Yeah,
Let's see.
He's between 3,000 and 3,200.
Yeah, so
Okay.
3,000, 3,200.
To make 93?
I'm still.
You could
coming
probably
around.
you could eat more because
I woke up 191 this morning.
Will, how many calories you eat?
Man, I wish I could eat that. Man, going into this, I was around, let's give a range of 50, 80 to 6 something.
6,000 calories,
Is the very top end. I think there was a night I hit 6,200.
which is almost double you. That is insane amount of calories.
To wake up at 94, by the way.
Yeah, that's nuts. So obviously you're going to be at 93 for you to ever go 105 would be, what are we talking, 10,000 calories?
Yeah, probably something around 8 because like eating 6, and it's all majority of it. The 6,000 calorie day was 5 straight meals of clean food, beef and rice, chicken and rice with these vegetables, berries, fruits, And I'd have like a little snack, like a little bit of ice cream in the night, just to bloat me over in the morning, so I can wake up heavier and have more body weight. Because if I can hit that higher threshold, I can keep it. But the second I dip down, it's downhill from here.
6,000. Delaney, when you hear this, are you telling yourself, man, I got to up my game here. I got to go 4. I got to go 5. And like, how many thousand calories do you think you'll need to fill out 93?
I don't know. I don't think about it. It wasn't until yesterday I even knew how many calories I eat. I guess that's the
Fair
benefit
enough.
of your girlfriend, being your nutritionist.
Right.
Like, you just like do this. And I'm just like, all right, cool.
But you wanted to slow bulk it. You didn't want to.
Yeah, I wanted to do. So I guess my theory behind it was I know a lot of people, in my gym and just in general in the powerlifting community or any community, just think that the faster that you gain weight, the stronger you get. And for me, the logic just doesn't add up. And so I was just like, I rather do this slow. I rather, eat every ounce of clean food that I possibly can to slowly get myself up there. And if I do have to eat 10,000 calories to get there, like, so be it. Because it's just like, like what happens if you go all in, right? Like what happens if instead of having a bag of chips to try to get another 500 calories in, it was all just lean bison and rice. And so I just believe that those small incremental things, matter. And, based on some of the progressions and things that have happened over the last, 6 to 8 months or so, I believe that to be true. And, I don't think about how many calories I eat. I just think this is just a formality of what I need to do in order to be at the top and win.
And what does the future hold for you, sir?
I don't know. I have to, I have to think about that now, right? When I say when I texted you back and I said I'd see you Dubai, in Dubai, I genuinely meant that. I didn't.
I believe you.
I truly did not believe that there was an alternative universe that it wouldn't be that. And so now that the alternative universe has come to light, it's something that I have to think through. But yeah, I mean, whether I try to do a meet in between, whether I try to just continue to bulk up and just train till nationals next year. That is what it is, and I'll know what I need to do when the time comes and what feels right. But yeah, man, I genuinely didn't even think that this conversation was going to happen.
You have pathways. There is North Americans. So I guess you could think about it and talk to Robert Keller, and it doesn't hurt to throw your name out there and see what happens. You'll still be Team USA. There's still world records at play, and you'll have some time anyways, because I think that's August.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll see, right? We make plans and God laughs. And so I'll take some time. I'll get back to training. I'll see what I want to do. Because when I say that, and I've had the fortune of doing both twice, like Sheffield and Worlds, right? And although there's money involved and there's all this hype and it is, and hopefully you do what you need to do, because there's no better arena or stadium to be in just competing wise than Sheffield. I believe that. There is not a single thing athletically that I would give up to be a world champion, And so if you told me, hey, you could go to Worlds, win Worlds, but you're banned or whatever, and you could never go to Sheffield, it wouldn't matter to me, right? Which is why I said hey, if I had the strength to total 1,000 kilos at World, I'm doing it, even if it means I'm 12th at Sheffield, because everything else is just icing on the cake, right? There is no better feeling than to be the best in the world when it matters. And so I wouldn't give that up for anything. So I say all that to say, now I have to go think about, hey, okay, do we just go to nationals and just bulk up till there and just try to do the world champion thing? Does it make sense to still do NAPFs and try to get yourself in, squeeze yourself into Sheffield and then do the whole thing? I have to think about that now, because prior to that, I genuinely mean it with everything in my heart. There's nothing I care about more than just standing on the top of that world stage again, which is why it doesn't mean much to me. I remember 3 years ago, SBD's yo, you need to post more. And I'm just I do not care about what you think I'm going to do going into the meet. And I've also brought this up to people that just ask me in the gym randomly, and my girlfriend has seen me ramble about this more times than I think she can even count. But there's a weird advantage that comes with not posting, and it's not the whole you don't know I'm coming thing, right? Which I think is why I get so emotional at the end of a meet, whether it goes well or whether it goes not, is because you can only judge me on this one day, right? I don't get the privilege of, I'll use Russ as an example because he's a friend of mine. I don't get the privilege of, I hit an 822 squat and then Sheffield didn't go that well. So, something happened,
so
I'm strong, and you can give me the benefit of the doubt. There is nothing else that I can grasp on to be judged by other than this day. And I think that, and so that's why when hey, you pull for the win or nothing else, it's there is no other thought in my mind than that. And so I think that there is this unfair, just internal advantage of knowing that you will be judged. You will be judged. And I don't have the privilege of being judged by a YouTube video that I put out, or this video that I, said something and called somebody out for, or this PR that I hit. You can only judge me by this one day. And there's something just poetic about it for me. That's how I came into the sport, right? I came in and I watched everybody overshoot and max out and do this and do that again and again and again and again. I see people at my gym time and time again, like, hey, like, how do you get to Worlds? And I tell them to do this thing. And the second that they see some cute girl in the corner, or the second their boy has a max out squat or a bench or whatever, and they want to go and match it because they want that small piece of instant gratification that literally only lasts about 10 seconds. Because after you post that video, King of the List reposts it one time, so maybe you get an extra day out of it.
Yeah, I will.
And then tomorrow, everybody forgets, right? And so I think I'm privileged in the sense that in some ways that, powerlifting is not how I live, right? There's some disadvantages that come with that. You have no idea what's been happening behind the scenes. But also at the same time, as an athlete, I don't need to do anything else but just train. And there is some peace that comes to that. And so, yeah, I think that's why I get so emotional when I compete, because I know that this is the reflection of everything that I've done for the past 4 months. And so it hurts when I don't get there, and it feels amazing when I do. And so, yeah, that's my ramble.
You were literally like a burn my ships guy for like literally though, because you're coming in here with no other pathways but Worlds. I win Worlds. And then when I ask you, oh, there's North Americans, there's this, there's that, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it was just the Worlds. That's it. Well, thank you. Well, think about that, but I don't think so. It's the Worlds. And then even I've never heard anyone talk about, if I post this massive squat and I'm capable of that squat now, if I don't hit it on the day, I don't get to say, but you know what I'm capable of. I don't get to have that out. I'm going to close the door and not give that to myself. I've never heard anyone say that. I've heard people say like, I don't want the pressure, so I don't post, or I don't want my opposition to know what I'm doing, so I don't post. I've never once heard someone say, I don't want to have an out being like, you guys know what I'm capable of, so I didn't have the great day, but if I did have a good day, I was 930. You're like, no. I either have 930 or I don't have 930. This guy had 930, he won, God bless, he wins. I don't get to say, like, I've hit these before, look at these videos, put them all together. I haven't heard someone explain it like that before.
Yeah.
Still wish you post more, but.
Yeah, I mean, now that things are done, maybe I do a little something here and there. But yeah, no, I mean, that's just what I believe. And I think it's also just part of that is also like an ego check mechanism for me as well. Because I do know, like, we're all human, right? And there is that just need for human approval. Like, we want to feel relevant. Sure. Regardless of who we are, right? And so I do know that I also have an addictive personality where, like, just like I stepped into the gym one time, did one meet, they're like, hey, these two guys are the best people in the world. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna catch them. That there's nothing else now, right? Nothing else matters, but I'm gonna catch them because you said I couldn't. And so, yeah, I mean, there is that piece of me that knows that there is always that slippery slope where, there's one good day, everybody's like, oh, you're the GOAT, you're the best, because it feels good, right? It feels good when somebody walks up to you and like, yo, you're the GOAT, like, you're the best. Like, I remember, doing a speaking thing in Kuwait for powerlifting and coming back from Egypt airport at 2 a.m, dog tired, I don't even know where I am. And in Egypt airport, 2 kids stopped me to take a picture. Right?
That's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? From powerlifting, that from a scope of sports is so small that like 90% of people don't even know what it is. And so that feels good. Like, I can't deny that it doesn't. And so also part of that is, well, if I don't get in that slippery slope of he posts a 700 squat, I got to post a 700 squat, I do a little bit more, I do, and everything else is just gone. It's just me, my coach, what I'm supposed to do. And I just have to believe that if I do everything that I'm supposed to do, that everything will fall out in my favor, because I believe that I have the capacity and the strength and the ability to do so. And I also just think that powerlifting is one of those few sports that doesn't take talent. It doesn't take any type of raw God-given ability. It's literally just doing small incremental things well over and over and over and over and over and over again till you get sick of it. And the cool thing about it is I know that 90% of people don't have the mental fortitude to do the boring thing every single day. And I just think that that's, an advantage. And so that's, part of the rationale to it, right? One, there's no way out. And then two, it's also, in those times where you do want to feel important. If I'm not going to post it, it doesn't matter if I went for a 780 squat in training, because you won't see it anyway. So you couldn't You couldn't give me a pat on the back even if you wanted to because you didn't know it existed, right? And so it also sometimes keeps me in check when I feel good and I know it's supposed to be RP 7.5, 8, but I want to go 10. And so yeah, it's a little bit of checking myself there too. And that also like just work's been god awful busy.
Will, how about yourself? Now you achieved what you wanted to achieve. You checked a lot of boxes today, young man. You had multiple world champions going head up with you. You were young and previously unbattle tested. Nobody could say you're unbattle tested now. And in battle, going 9 for 9, 930, the first 93 to take us into the 930s. You are now the reigning U.S. champ. You're going to the World Championships. You know who's waiting for you. You were at Sheffield when you watched Russ battle Emil, battle Gustav. You know what those guys are all about. And you saw firsthand, and first off, that's crazy that you flew out there while literally working out 7 days a week, blah, blah, blah.
Well, not yet at this point.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
still
It was a bit
crazy. It was
closer.
5 weeks out. It's still
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
to be 19 again. But how are you feeling now? You know what the assignment is. You're going to the World Championships, and it doesn't get easier, does it?
It doesn't get easier. I want to add a lot of what Delaney was saying I relate to, and I actually really respect him for that. And also about the like rapid weight gain. You know, a lot of people do attribute that like, oh, if I gain 3 kilos in a week, crazy. I'll be this much stronger, but like scientifically, that's not how it works. You're not gaining that much muscle in a week. You're bloating yourself, and you're gonna get fat.
Yeah.
You're carrying more water weight, and you're getting, carrying more fat on your body. But again, mass does move mass. If you're a bit heavier, you will be a bit more efficient. But again, like you're not gonna gain. In his example, he's, I kind of do the same thing, where gaining the small increments of muscle may help you improve massively more than, oh yeah, let me gain 2 kilos in a week. I'll squat 340 then. But to actually answer your question, I'm really not scared. I'm not nervous. I'm prepared. I've watched these guys because I got into powerlifting like maybe 2022. Started watching the first Sheffield.
Is that right? No kidding.
Yeah. Watched the first Sheffield, and I've been watching ever since the whole way. But hey, I saw them on I'll say Gustav did 920, or not Gustav. Sorry. Oh my God. Emil. Sorry. Emil's my goat too. I can't do that to him.
That's all right.
No, Emil did 920 on what a bad day. I'm not gonna lie. Like he didn't have the best day ever. Mm-hmm. I think he could have done more. I think he's good for more. However, I am too.
Well said. Having so you will be clashing with these guys,
100%.
and you probably are familiar and heard the Europeans talk about Americans hit these big totals at nationals, come to worlds,
internationals,
yeah.
But
What do you think about all that?
I think it just depends on the right American.
That's exactly what you got to be telling yourself. You're exactly where you need to be. And when you go to the World Championships, are you the same as Delaney, where you're dropping the hammer and going all out, or are you thinking if you win it on your second deadlift, for instance, hold a little for Sheffield? What are your game plans on that?
No, I did say I relate a lot to what Delaney was saying. I want to go all in. I want to make it undeniable, and I want to close the door on any attempts, because like what happened today, it's all love with all my competitors, no animosity whatsoever. But if I have the option to close the door and shut it out, and I know I can win, I'm going to take that chance 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm. And then that third deadlift, you will just pile on those kilos regardless.
100%. If I knew what the numbers were and I knew everything, I would have said load 400. You would have seen me. You would have seen me take.
I'm glad you were handling yourself that. But
yeah. Hey, we would have pulled for 950.
Right.
Is that right? I don't know.
Probably. Okay, sounds good. And then obviously Sheffield Stadium. What a freaking show that would be.
I'm excited.
You make it to Sheffield in this stadium to be doing this. At freaking your age, it's got to be a lot.
I like the we throw around the youngest to do. Is Agatha the youngest to go to Worlds in Sheffield?
got to be
Did
up
she
there.
did she do it at 20 or did
I
she
would have
do
to
it-
check. You might be beating her.
'Cause
It'll
I
come down to
did-
months.
It will, yeah, it will. I think I got her by months because I just turned 20 this month. So I think maybe I don't know, I'm not sure. But go on.
No, well, I was just gonna say, I know I'm keeping you guys. You guys have to eat and celebrate, etc. I just want to say,
100%.
thank you guys for doing this. I much appreciated for you guys giving me your time, and I'll see you at Worlds. I know me and you are gonna stay in contact, and whenever we link up, let's link up soon. Anyways, we're not that far. We're not that far. So, thank you, gentlemen, and for everybody watching, as per usual. Please do subscribe, give us high ratings, and until next time, Six Pack Lapidat.